especially coming off a 30-point game. I agree with Freddie. He's not going to get 30 again, but I feel like he's going to get 20-21.
I think it depends on the ferocity of that Celtics defense.
Look at you.
Or lack thereof.
Spot
on.
Word of the day.
Exactly. All right.
Don't be selling Michelle Smallman
Shout out to
stuff.
Michelle Smallman.
Don't be
Shout out Smalls.
She's the word baddie of ESPN Radio. She ain't giving up her throne.
I'm not coming for it.
I know.
Come on.
Just warning you.
All right. So we saw the Raptors get a game last night against the Cavs to cut it to 2-1. We have the Rockets hosting a game tonight against the Lakers down 0-2. Kevin Durant's 3-point made total on DraftKings Sportsbook for tonight is over under 2.5. Harry, what do you like there?
Yeah, I'm going over that. Kevin Durant, this is desperation.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't show up and show out, he had a really good first half in game 2, but faded off, and that's because the Lakers and J.J. Redick did a great job of trapping him and getting the basketball out of his hands and forcing him to actually turn the basketball over. But in a game that you desperately need because you can't go down 3-0, Kevin Durant's going to need more than 2 threes. You're going to need about 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 of them.
What he said. Let's move on.
All right, fellas, there's been a lot going on with the Freddie and Harry Invitational. So I thought for this next one here for the game tomorrow, we would,
Oh, really?
Come on.
The trader wants to be friends now?
Hey!
All right. DraftKings Sportsbook, C.J. McCollum and Jalen Brunson to both score 25 points in Game 4, plus 371 on DraftKings, Freddie. Do you think we'll get 25 plus from both these guys?
Yeah, we will. We're going to get 30 points from each one of these guys. The question is, who's going to make that final play down the stretch that C.J. McCollum has been able to do in the last 2 games, and Jalen Brunson has not been able to step up to the plate and be counted.
Bring it to me one more time, E.
25 points for both Jalen Brunson and C.J. McCollum. Go, C.J. in Game 4.
He just wants you to say it again.
Go,
we know his
C.J. That's my C.J. That's my C.J. Go, C.J. Yeah, they're both going to get it.
Good Lord. He's Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman with assistance from Eric Hammond and Shannon, been part of the 4 Horsemen on Love Friday, Freddie and Harry. The question for first round was gathered by who?
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with 0 alcohol, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your forecast brought to you by VTRN meteorologist Matt Ferguson.
Tonight, skies turn partly cloudy, lows fall into the middle 50s. Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy, an 80% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, highs near 80. Then as we head into Sunday, any isolated showers give way to drier, cooler conditions, highs in the 60s. I'm VTRN meteorologist Matt Ferguson.
Hi, I'm Kathy McPhee. Animals have always had my heart, and that is why I'm a proud supporter of American Humane Society. Over the years, I have filled my home with rescue pets. I adopted my sweet Wilma as a senior dog. She reminds me how special older dogs really are. Some of my most cherished memories are with her. American Humane Society believes every animal deserves compassion, love, and respect.
I'm Dr. Robin Ganser, President and CEO of American Humane Society. Because of you, we've been able to save animal lives. Thank you so much for your generous support of our work.
American Humane Society has been rescuing, caring for, and protecting animals for 150 years, celebrating the life-changing power of the human-animal bond. Your support can save lives. Join us in helping animals in need at AmericanHumane.org.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real. And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. We provide resources and support because there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's, or caring for a loved one,
find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO.
Looking for everything happening in and around Central Virginia that used to be in the morning paper? Start your day at the LynchburgPortal.com. Get the latest news updates from Bill Treviro, plus up-to-date weather from VTRN's own in-house meteorologist, Matt Ferguson. So you're always in the know before you head out the door. Want to listen on the go? Stream classic hits on Rewind 103.9. Get breaking local news on WIQO, or catch the best sports talk and play-by-play on VTRN Sports, powered by ESPN Radio, all right from the portal. Looking to save? Check out insane radio deals for great local discounts, or explore local podcasts featuring the voices and stories that make our community special. Plus, connect with local businesses through the Lynchburg Business Alliance directory and stay in the loop on the latest events from Lynchburg Tourism. It's all right here. Local news, weather, sports, deals, and more at the LynchburgPortal.com. Your gateway to everything Lynchburg. You're listening to WVGM AM and FM Lynchburg, now powered by ESPN Radio and streaming at VirginiaTalkRadioNetwork.com.
Fox News, I'm Kathleen Maloney. Peace talks will resume between the U.S. and Iran.
I can confirm Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be off to Pakistan again tomorrow morning to engage in talks, direct talks intermediated by the Pakistanis.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tells Fox's America Reports Vice President J.D. Vance won't be joining them. The Justice Department has dropped its investigation of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell.
Ending the probe of Powell clears the way for confirmation of Kevin Warsh, President Trump's choice to succeed Powell in May, when Powell's term as Fed chair ends.
Fox's Ginny Cosola, the federal inspector general, though, will be looking into cost overruns at the Federal Reserve. America is listening to Fox News.
Get more on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your trusted dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for over 50 years. With more selection, more value, and more finance options. Plus, your trade is worth more. Shop local and save more with straightforward pricing, plus exceptional service and selection. Your search ends at the Motor Mile. Choose from over 900 quality pre-owned vehicles, plus a massive selection of new car brands in Southwest Virginia. Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, Kia, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and now Buick. Plus, the used car superstore. 12 new car brands, 900 used vehicles, one amazing buying experience. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got more than any other dealer in the area. The Sheeler Motor Mile delivers choices. Here's the difference. Sheeler owns the finance company and makes getting approved for credit simple and easy on the Motor Mile. Flexible financing options for every budget to get you on the road fast. Get more on the Sheeler Motor Mile with a certified friendly staff and no games, no gimmicks. The Sheeler Motor Mile, now in Christiansburg, Radford, and Pulaski. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
When I deployed, I didn't realize that even the air I was breathing was dangerous. Since coming home, I've watched friends get sick and struggle to get the support they deserve. But now, that's finally changing. We're eligible for new VA healthcare and benefits based on when and where we serve. Even though I feel okay, I'm going to apply. For my sake and for my family. Learn more and apply today. Visit va.gov/PACT.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app, 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
In all our much less discombobulated glory, you can find us today in the Fast Lane on VTRN Sports and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook Live and YouTube. If you prefer to consume us as opposed to 93.3 FM Lynchburg, the VTRN Sports app, or asking that smart speaker, I won't say her name in case you're listening on the phone, and I don't want to trigger her on the smart speaker as well, open VTRN Sports. So, NFL Draft, round 1 in the books last night. Lots of takeaways that we get to, and we have some other topics after that, because then we'll get a full Commander-centric recap with Madam President of Bowie TV Sports, Candy Waller, around 5:15 p.m. today in the Fast Lane. All of those takeaways right now to kick off.
It's time for Fast 5 at 5-ish. 5-ish minutes on 5 relevant topics done around 5 p.m.-ish. Ish, because our counting skills are kind of ish. Let's start with number 5.
Because I have mine and have opined to an extent at Fast Lane, Ed Lane, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, including in those trostlaw.com fast takes. I'll get to it in a moment. But you're the producer today, Evan. What stood out to you last night? Give us the 2 to 3 highlights that you went, wow, that was captivating from the NFL Draft last night.
I think first off, it was Jeremiah Love going to the Cardinals at 3. I found that was an interesting pick. Then the Chiefs trading up to get Mansour Delane. And then the Titans going Cardinal Tate at 4.
So for all of those, was the intrigue head-scratching? Was the intrigue, oh, you really like that? Why were those the ones that stood out to you?
Jeremiah Love the player, think he's great, but for the fit of the Cardinals, I found interesting is because they don't have an offensive line really, and they don't even have a quarterback. So kind of interesting there. Carnell Tate, I like the pick there because they just really needed a wide receiver to help young Cam Ward, who was a rookie last year. But the most confusing one to me was the Chiefs trading up to get Mansour Delane. I thought they could have gotten still probably at 9, but swapped with the Browns.
So fascinating on all of those angles. I'm completely with you on Jeremiah Love. He's fantastic. But if you're talking about the cycle of being able to accelerate a team from maybe taking the leap from being a good team to a great team or a great team to an elite team, the Cardinals are just nowhere close to that. Like it's an example of why they're the Cardinals and why they're picking in the draft. I would have liked this fit more with the Giants, who have Jackson Dart. Frankly, I could have understood it with Cam Ward in Tennessee. Certainly, the Commanders, if they had a slip there, it turns out that was just never going to happen. Carnell Tate's a head scratcher to me. From a value proposition, I would have taken Arvell Reese because I think you can get a plethora of wide receivers that make an impact in day 2 and day 3. Linemen are harder to find in that particular spot. David Bailey, too, it's fascinating because the betting market, until really we were about halfway into the Jets being on the clock, the betting market thought Arvell Reese was going number 2. And yet, it seemed like it was Bailey all the way. It's why those are not always correct. There's a lot of reasons Steam exists, but it's not a foolproof system. It's like artificial intelligence. The Bible, according to, there's only one Bible out there. You put your hand on it in court, or you consume it like I do every Sunday, but other days during the week as well. That is not it. But that's the fascinating part to me, because other takeaways from the draft. We'll get to 4, 3, 2, and 1 different topics in a moment. I'm an Eagles fan. They traded up to leapfrog Pittsburgh, and as gangster as the videos are of Howie Roseman calling Mekhi Lemon and getting him to disconnect with Steelers GM Omar Khan because the Eagles traded up 1 spot ahead of him, I would have just rather paid a little extra and tried to get ahead of the Panthers and get Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle. And again, maybe they think they're better options next year. Maybe they think they can coach somebody up in the later rounds. I'm just more skeptical of that because there's no Jeff Stoutland as the offensive line coach. Philly's got a lot of secret warts that are there. And I think some of this is, I get the impression they are trying to put all the pieces in place. Mekhi Lemon's great in the middle. Jalen Hurts historically is not like to throw it there. I think they're really trying to do everything they can to get a clear answer on whether they want Sirianni or another coach and whether they want to bail on Hurts all heading into next year. Because they're a radical team. I could easily see them cutting bait and bailing. I think that's a big part of the reason why they made that particular move for Mekhi Lemon, who, I mean, that interview last night, did you see it?
Yeah.
Did he look like he had partaken in our InsaneRadioDeals.com 420 special on multiple levels?
Maybe. He's got an interesting interview style.
No doubt about it. I mean, it was just, I'm sitting there going, am I on the Twilight Zone watching this? So that's one of them. The Rams press conference. I know they've come out today and tried to cover it up, but did you see the press conference after the pick was announced last night?
Yeah, Sean McVay did not seem like he agreed with the pick.
No, he did not. It clearly seemed like it was GM Les Snead. Now, there was an interesting explanation on the Rich Eisen show from Ian Rappaport, who said McVay has to take that tone publicly, even though he backed the pick and called up Simpson, because you have to also convey to the locker room that you back up Matt Stafford, and to Matt Stafford that you back up Matt Stafford. I guess I can buy that to a certain extent. But the press conference itself last night, it reminded me of when my dad and my mom would be sitting there and saying, we think or we agree. And you could tell by my dad's assertive tone and dismissal of any dissenter, and my mom's eye rolls and body language, that this really wasn't a we decision. This was my dad's decision, but he wanted to present the unified front. And when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I might have bought it. When I was a teenager, I became skeptical. When you become an adult, it's just kind of insulting to your intelligence to try to do that. My dad, for as great as he is, as awesome as things are, there are just certain things where he gets in his head that it's how he wants it to be and thinks you can try that. And again, he's trying to pull the sales tactic on a career salesperson here. Let's be real here. I'm not as gifted as my dad was back in the day, but I get it. And that's what the press conference reminded me of last night. So I just sat there and went, really? That's it. The other ones are, I thought the NFC East had a really good draft. I outside of Philadelphia, where my skepticism is greater. I'm like the anti-Trey Lyle from the morning warm-up. He's a Philly fan. He's kind of got the Barstool, Pat McAfee bro culture of always pumping the team up. I'm not like fire everybody, Philly sports talk radio, but I am skeptical relative to the emotional swings and ebbs and flows. I liked what the Giants did. It was hard to mess it up with 2 top 10 picks. The Cowboys, I love it. I have other questions about maturity of Lawrence, the defensive end, but Caleb Downs provides maturity and leadership that is sorely needed at all levels, offense, defense, and special teams in that franchise. And I thought Sonny Styles was a home run for the Washington Commanders as well. Meanwhile, other draft day nuggets in number 4. Mike Vrabel will not be part of day 3 of the NFL draft, but he's there tonight for day 2, second and third rounds, and then he gets ready to begin counseling. Look, I have not spoken with our friends at Central Virginia Counseling to get my usher on confessing something that Mike Vrabel might finally be doing with his personal life. After photos came out, another batch from TMZ and from the New York Post with he and his relationship with Diana Rossini going back as far as 2000. I mean, her credibility she can be an opinionist, but as a reporter, I think it is severely lacking. Also, Mike Vrabel, look, I don't think players ultimately care, but you talk about not being a distraction, and you've clearly created one. That's a concern for him. Obviously, there are people, the Post is diabolical for how they got it out there. TMZ is. Here's an idea. Don't cheat and don't have to worry about this. If you cheat, you live with the consequences of cheating. Shocking, that might be the case. And look, I understand we're all of sin and fall short of the glory of God. I get it. But when you keep trying to convey it and, it's just an innocent interaction. This is laughable the way people are making it out to be. If you've done something that bad, you should know, going into the back of your mind, that photos can happen anywhere. And all this happened since 2000. Like, people had camera phones for a decade. Like, you should know that anybody can take pictures, and all it takes are a couple of them getting out. And now Mike Vrabel has created a distraction. And it reminds me of those, the PR statements and how it's a crash course in poor PR, how this has been handled. It is literally like the first quarter or second game of the season suspension. First quarter, because the game is so important, we can't miss it when it really matters in the second half. Or second game, because we're playing a marquee opponent to open. But after that, we've got Alabama A&M, with all due respect to our HBCU fans out there. That's what this seemed like with the Mike Vrabel situation. Meanwhile, number 3, Virginia Tech's athletic director Whit Babcock announced his retirement yesterday. I think we were going to get to this point in any way because of the lack of power making the football coaching staff hire. We knew he was going to transition and help with that, but probably transition out of that role. When Danny White transitioned from the Hokie Club that looked like it could have been an omen. I know Trey Lyle mentioned that on the morning warm-up today. We'll have more with Chris Coleman or David Cunningham of TechSideline.com Monday in the Fast Lane. Overall, it's been a solid tenure in terms of finding good coaches and navigating the changing landscape of college athletics. It's just they've really struggled in revenue-generating sports like football and men's basketball, and ultimately, those are the headline grabbers and how it will be remembered. Meanwhile, speaking of college sports and changes, University of Arkansas will discontinue men's and women's tennis. My thought is, if this is happening at a high revenue-generating program like an SEC or Big Ten school, how long it hits the others where they are much more likely to be balling on a budget? I don't want that to happen. I love tennis, and I love running cross-country, track, and field, but they're not major revenue-generating sports, which is where my level of skepticism of this comes in. Meanwhile, we'll get into this Monday and covering the Commonwealth as well with our frontstretch.com guest, Michael Massey. But it's a year. It's the transition away from the Bill France era as the leader of NASCAR. He is stepping away from that particular role. It's going to be an elevated role now for Steve O'Donnell, NASCAR president. Ben Kennedy will also take an assertive role. Ben Kennedy is married to Lisa France Kennedy. So I don't believe the France family is fully stepping away. I think this is more Jim France is done fighting that battle. You still got Steve O'Donnell as the president, but you've got NASCAR with the promotion internally where the France family can still have an impact. However, highest ranking person, not in the France family, with it being O'Donnell. That is a fascinating tale. And does the sport get more open to change, which they could use some in terms of the car structure? You know, they were already forced out with the revenue generating side of things. Those are things that are to be determined. Meanwhile, when we return to the Fast Lane, it's to be determined how the Washington Commanders, how they handled day 2 and day 3 of the NFL draft. They do not have a second or fourth round pick. We'll get all that reaction. Plus, what was the vibe like at Commanders headquarters when they selected Sonny Styles? Heck, when he fell to them at pick number 7. Candy Waller of Bowie TV Sports. I corrected myself. Candy Waller of Bowie TV Sports next in the Fast Lane.
Don't miss the declaration of deals during our spring clearance at Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Buy now with big incentives or low financing, or we'll pay your state sales tax. Your choice. Plus no payments for 90 days. Don't miss the savings, like $6,500 off MSRP on a new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Plus no payments for 90 days at Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1750 Independence Boulevard in Bedford. MagicCityBedford.com. Stock number BT12821 with approved credit. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/26.
Midday hunger hitting you hard? Swing by Macadoo's for our $8.95 weekday lunch specials. Whether you're craving a classic crunch or something fresh, we've got you covered. Chicken tender basket featuring crispy golden tenders served with fries. The Macadoo's Chef Salad, a healthy, loaded favorite that will hit the spot. Hit back against your lunchtime hunger at Macadoo's with eats that won't break the bank.
Time to share great food and fun. Just to be there, the only one. Just to be there at Macadoo's.
We'll see you at the Do's.
Commercial turf is your business. Supporting it is ours. At Miller Built Outdoor Equipment in Lynchburg, we're focused on professional turf equipment. Toro commercial zero turns, professional handhelds, fleet planning, and service support built for uptime. Whether you're running 2 mowers or 20, we help you build the right setup from day one. Built around your turf, Miller Built Outdoor Equipment on 12th Street in Lynchburg.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
What do high-performing athletes have in common? They don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. The best competitors have a strong mental support system that keeps them focused, confident, and at the top of their game. Want that same support in your own life? Central Virginia Counseling can help. No matter what life throws your way, our team is here for you with 2 Lynchburg locations on Wigington Road and Timberlake Road, and telehealth available anywhere in Virginia. Take the first step today. Visit centralvirginiacounseling.com.
If you own a diesel truck or diesel fleet, it's time to go Wicked and get serviced for the spring. And when you go Wicked, take 25% off your service request for a limited time. Wicked Diesel in Bedford will allow 25% off a transmission flush, coolant flush, oil change, differential service, or AC service. Your choice. Just tell Josh you want that 25% off service special. Download the coupon at wickeddieselva.com. Need diesel repair? Go Wicked.
Every Saturday night. After the Hill City Howlers play ball at City Stadium, the best fireworks in the region light up the Lynchburg sky. It's the perfect way to end a perfect night. Baseball, family, and a show you won't forget. Get your tickets now at hchowlers.com. That's hchowlers.com. Howl out loud.
An evening with Larry the Cable Guy.
It's a cool anniversary for me tonight. This is my 27th year in the comedy business, and it's my 5th year being funny, so I'm excited about both of them, all right?
Saturday, May 9th, 7:30 p.m., Salem Civic Center. On sale now at Salem Civic Center box office or Ticketmaster.com.
Get her done.
We are making it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier used car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for over 50 years with the best selection, value, finance options, and exceptional service. Plus 900 pre-owned vehicles all in one location. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume. The Used Car Superstore is your one-stop for most makes and models. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even local one-owner vehicles. Plus, Sheeler owns the finance company. Getting approved for credit is easy on the Motor Mile with finance options for every budget. 900 used vehicles in stock now. More than any other dealer in the area. Hurry in for straightforward pricing and more inventory arriving daily. Why wait? Make it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier family-owned car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Hi, this is Bill Roth, voice of Virginia Tech football. You're listening to The Fast Lane with Ed Lane and Trey Lyle. Join the chat at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
Boots on the ground. That's a phrase we love to use with our next guest, Madam President, Candy Waller of Bowie TV Sports. Boots on the ground at Washington Commanders headquarters, and now has found a room for us. Candy Waller with us in the Fast Lane. Seawall, first of all, we welcome you back in. Second of all, I am so sorry that you got to see my face when normally you get spared the pain and agony of that when we chat on the phone on Mondays.
No, I'm actually excited to see you. It's good to see people. If the Wi-Fi is spotty, welcome to Ashburn. It is what it is, but hopefully it's not.
All right, we will get to the NFL draft stuff in a moment. First of all, we do a new thing in the Fast Lane called Faith Fridays. We're on a condensed schedule today through 5:30, so we can't get a full realm of things with your Christian faith. But I wanted to ask you about this. How much do you lean on that, especially in what has been a wild last couple of weeks leading up to the NFL draft kicking off last night?
110%. That's all I lean on. And so it has been a whirlwind of a few weeks. And so with the NFL draft kicking off last night, you never know what you're going to get. And that was definitely some surprises for us last night.
There definitely were. Does your Christian faith, you're outspoken about this, Seawall SE on Twitter, CEO Seawall on Instagram as well. How much does that give you energy knowing that sometimes these nights, game nights and draft nights, can go into the wee hours of the early morning?
We were here late. I was here late. I was, doing content, connected with my team that was in Pittsburgh, and just saying, hey, I'll just stay out in Ashburn because these are long, long days. So I'll be here all day this evening. I'll be here tomorrow as well. You just got to push through and see it through.
Candy Waller with us here in the Fast Lane, Madam President of Bowie TV Sports, stopping by with us today here in the Fast Lane. Seawall, the reaction last night when the Washington Commanders got to pick number 7 and Sonny Styles was available, did it crescendo then, or did it crescendo once that selection was turned in and announced by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell?
I think it crescendoed when they realized that Sonny was going to be available at 7. I want to say the crescendo probably started to happen once the Giants picked Arvell Reese. Like, I think they knew, like, okay, wow, Sonny is going to be, in fact, available. And that's the sense that I'm getting around here today, is that they really did not think he was going to be there at 7. And once they realized what was happening, and then the trade for Mansour Delane happened, they were elated and still are.
What was the likelihood? First of all, was there ever even consideration in the Commanders' office that they would get Jeremiah Love because that was the other pick people thought was a target? Or was there a point where it became clear that just was not going to happen?
I think it was a point that it became clear last week that it wasn't going to happen. I think the Arizona Cardinals that kind of made an announcement, which was almost like a hands-off signal. That's what I called it earlier today in a tweet, of they were picking Jeremiah Love. And I know others maybe thought that they were bluffing, and based on what I was hearing from the, across the league, they weren't bluffing at all. They were taking Jeremiah Love. What was interesting is they didn't get any calls from anybody to move up, but that's who they were taking, and that's who they did.
For the Washington Commanders, off-ball linebacker, is stack linebacker, a middle linebacker, is not in the league viewed in a valuable position the same way it may be in certain schemes. How much of that is the reason why Sonny Styles was both available to the Commanders and seems like he fits them in a defense where Dan Quinn helped pave the way for a guy like Fred Warner to have a similar impact in San Francisco?
Well, I think what is happening here is one of the questions I've been asking is about that Mike, that position, that quarterback on defense, the green dot. Bobby Wagner operated in that role. And we know that Dan Quinn and Coach Ken Norton know Bobby very well. They drafted him in Seattle with Bobby not having been re-signed with the Washington Commanders. And even if he were to be re-signed, it becomes who comes next? Who comes after Bobby? That quarterback of your defense is just as important as your quarterback on offense. They see a lot in Sonny Styles and what he could possibly do. They haven't said officially yet what he will do. Of course not. They're not going to give all that secret sauce, but one would imagine that he would play that role that Bobby Wagner has played, or a very similar role that he has played in the last 2 years here and what he's played throughout his career.
Seawall, Candy Waller, Bowie TV Sports president and our boots on the ground reporter. If you're watching at VTRN Sports or Fastlane Ed Lane on our social media platforms, particularly Facebook Live and YouTube, you see her at the podium, press conference podium for the Washington Commanders. Is that where Sonny Styles was introduced earlier today?
Well, no, he was in the auditorium. He was in the very nice auditorium, and I got a couple pictures and reels there. We have some more content coming out. But I'm actually in one of the media room spaces where we can do shows, and we got to, kind of swap out sometimes. And so we're in the media annex, but he was in the very, very nice auditorium.
So you were there in person when he was introduced. How much of how physically imposing is he? Is he every bit of the 6'4", 6'5", 245-pound linebacker that he was listed as?
Absolutely. And I first met Sonny at the Combine. So my first time seeing Sonny was at the NFL Combine. I went to his media availability, and then I actually made a tweet. I may have to go and find that tweet when he was preparing for his actual Combine drills. And I said, I see Sonny walking down the hallway with his team, and he looks every bit of like an Avenger. He definitely is, very unique in his build, in his physique, and of course his overall athletic ability. And so you can see that as soon as you see him, he is striking. You can tell there's a difference there.
As it relates to moving beyond Sonny Styles, we've discussed some initial thoughts on how Sonny Styles fits in. We can get into more of that as we have time to think about it and reconnect with Candy Waller, good Lord willing, Monday in Covering the Commonwealth. What can you and what can Commanders fans expect on day 2, where they don't have a second, but they do have a third-round pick, and then day 3 of the draft tomorrow, where they don't have a fourth, but they have some later-round selections?
I think they're still looking for a player that can be impactful. I want to remind everybody they don't have a center, and so they absolutely need to draft a center in these next 2 days, which I anticipate that they will. Also, wide receiver. I know, some had maybe thought that, that could have gone Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, but there's still some very, very good wide receivers in this draft. And then there's just other pieces that you can plug in as well. There's a long wait from 7 to 71. It's their only pick tonight, and those other picks from the second round and the fourth are the 2 picks that they traded in the trade for Laramie Tunsil. So I think they're pleased with their return on that, but that still means they have to make some very impactful moves in these next 2 days.
Do you anticipate there being a scenario where they either trade one of their own players or trade for another player, or is the most likely scenario waiting until June 1st when that cut date arrives? And a lot of people think that may be when they're in the market for one of those, cough Brandon Ayuk.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably more of the June 1st deal, but you never know. Last night, actually, when I asked Adam Peters about the approach for the rest of the draft, he said he didn't imagine at that time that they would be moving up, or also they would just be waiting for 71. He said there's going to be a long, long wait, but they would just wait until 71, take a look at their board, see what happens throughout, because it's a long period there. But he didn't imagine them making any moves, at least not tonight.
Candy Waller with us here in the Fast Lane. Live boots on the ground analysis and thoughts. Seawall, thank you so much for an overview on night 1 and a look ahead to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds of the NFL draft. We look forward to following it, and good Lord willing, catching up with you Monday and covering the Commonwealth.
Absolutely. As always, thank you for having me, and I definitely look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
All on this side of the screen, Candy Waller. The pleasure is all here. Candy Waller with us here in the Fast Lane. That wraps up our chat with her today. That wraps up our time with you today as we get ready to send you over to Virginia Tech baseball. Then we'll join the remainder of the NFL draft in progress as well. We'll have more of that coverage, plus some basketball and hockey this weekend right here on the VTR and Sports app, 93.3 FM. And ask your smart speaker, open VTR and Sports, to stay updated with the latest here in the sports world. We're back Monday at 5.
The following is a Play-Fly presentation of the Virginia Tech Sports Network.